Hello, brain enthusiasts from across the globe. Have you ever questioned statements like, we only use 10% of our brains? Or, our memory works like a reliable video recorder? If so, you're not alone. Brain myths have misled many, impacting health decisions and social perceptions. So, it's time to set the record straight in our Brain Myths Debunked podcast. I'm your podcast host, Milena Krastensky, or simply Dr. K, neuroscientist and neurotechnologist. Let's explore the controversies and misconceptions surrounding our brains together. Have you heard phrases like learn it by heart, change of heart, or to your heart's content? These sayings linger from a time when people believed the heart was the center of emotion, thought, and memory. Of course, your heart is an incredible organ, but to handle your thoughts or storing your memories, this might be too far-fetched. Hello and welcome to the very first episode of Brain Myths Debunked podcast. I'm your host, Milena Krastensky, or simply Dr. K. And today we're kicking things off with a fascinating twist. We're talking about the heart in a show about the brain. Curious? Well, you should be. So let's explore how these beliefs that surround us to this day came to existence. And although the heart has its charms and roles, it's time we gave the brain its due credit. Diving in, let's explore the mythical view of the heart as the center of emotions and feelings, including, of course, love. Phrases like, I love you with all my heart are poetic, yes, but they stem from a deep historical and cultural misunderstanding. Think about iconic stories about passionate and fearless Braveheart, or full of courage and bravery Richard the Lionheart. They vividly illustrate the heart as the source of deep emotion. In opposite to that, J.K. Rowling's The Warlock's Hairy Heart portrays placed in a casket in a dungeon cut off heart to deprive the warlock from any emotions and safeguard him from love. Even the ancient Egyptians and Greeks revered the heart not just as a physical organ, but as a vital center of life, soul, and intellect. Eros, the mischievous god of love in Greek mythology, embodies the enduring fascinations humans have held for the heart as a symbol of love, desire, and emotion. According to legend, Eros was armed with a quiver of arrows, each tipped with magic to stir the hearts of gods and mortals alike. When he drew his bow and released an arrow, it would pierce the heart of his target, invoking powerful feelings of love and uncontrollable desire. His arrows could also lead to wild and tragic affairs that disrupted the lives of heroes and common folks alike. Know, though, that Eros aimed at hearts, not the brains of his victims. Believe it or not, this reverence of the heart as the locus of emotions wasn't just metaphorical. It had tangible, often gruesome manifestations. Throughout history, cultures worldwide have held beliefs in the transformative power of consuming hearts, whether human or animal, rooted in the concept of sympathetic magic. As described by Dr. James George Fraser in The Golden Bowl, this belief suggests that by ingesting the heart, one could absorb qualities such as courage and strength from the donor. Among indigenous societies, like certain Native American tribes and groups in Africa and South America, consuming hearts was linked to rituals, especially those associated with warfare or hunting. Warriors partook in the hearts of their foes to inherit their bravery and prowess, viewing the heart as containing the essence and power of the individual. Similarly, in medieval Europe, the consumption of animal hearts was believed to bestow upon the eater the creature's traits, such as bravery or ferocity. This cultural association of the heart with qualities like courage is exemplified in figures like Richard the Lionheart, whose valor on the battlefield came to symbolize the bravery and courage associated with the heart in medieval European culture. These beliefs in the mystical properties of hearts are echoed in various forms of folk magic and witchcraft practices around the world. In certain branches of voodoo, particularly in Haiti and parts of Africa, practitioners use symbolic objects called poen, charged with magical energy, to influence emotions or situations. Rituals involving poen may include symbolic actions related to the heart, such as piercing a representation of the heart with pins or needles to influence someone's emotions or intentions. Similarly, in hoodoo, a form of folk magic practiced primarily in the southern United States, practitioners may use symbolic representations of the heart, such as heart-shaped candles or mojo bags containing herbs believed to affect emotions or attract love. Additionally, various forms of folk magic and witchcraft involve rituals that aim to manipulate emotions or relationships. Practitioners often use heart shaped objects, images, or drawings in spells or incantations. These are designed to attract love, protect against emotional harm, or influence other people's feelings. The heart symbolizes emotion and is a common motive in these practices, highlighting its deep cultural and symbolic significance in matters of love and affection. In contrast, references to the brain are far less common in these contexts, possibly due to legitimate health concerns associated with its consumption. Consuming human brain tissue carries risks, such as the transmission of diseases like Kuru, that includes tremors, loss of coordination, and neurologic deterioration, eventually leading to death. This disease was observed among the four tribes of Papua New Guinea, who traditionally consumed the brains of deceased relatives during funerary rites as a sign of respect and mourning. While men consumed the flesh, women and children ate the brain. But not all the consequences of this practice were negative. In fact, by consuming the brain, they inadvertently developed a genetic resistance to prions, the misfolded proteins that cause kuru. This resistance is also thought to extend to other fatal brain diseases, including mad cow disease and certain forms of dementia. What about our days? In modern times, the symbolism of the heart continues to resonate deeply in our collective consciousness. Each year, on Valentine's Day, we celebrate love and affection by exchanging heart shaped cards, giving heart shaped chocolates, and adorning gifts with heart motifs. The heart remains a universal emblem of love, passion, and emotional connection, a testament to the lasting legacy of ancient beliefs in the heart's role as the center of human emotions. But let's flip to modern times and neuroscience, which shows us that emotions are actually managed by the brain's complex networks, among them the amygdala for processing our feelings and prefrontal cortex for decision making. So technically saying I love you with all my brain might be more accurate, though admittedly it doesn't quite have the same ring to it, does it? Modern science has revealed that traits like bravery and emotions are the result of complex neurological processes, not qualities that can be ingested or transferred through consumption. However, the enduring belief in these ideas underscores the deep symbolic significance of the heart across different cultures and eras. At the same time, it highlights how the brain's role has been historically underestimated, despite its critical functions in governing behavior and processing emotions. This contrast illustrates a fascinating aspect of cultural development and the understanding of human biology. Moving on, let's tackle the age old belief of the heart as a seat of intelligence, wisdom, and reason. Historically, many cultures revered the heart as the core of intellect. The Egyptian Book of the Dead, also known as the Book of Coming Forth by Day, is a collection of ancient Egyptian funerary texts intended to guide the deceased through the afterlife. The heart held significant importance in ancient Egyptian beliefs about the afterlife, while the brain did not feature prominently in funerary rituals or beliefs. In ancient Egyptian religion, the heart was considered the seat of not only emotions, but intelligence and morality rather than the brain. The heart was believed to be the source of a person's thoughts and actions during their lifetime. After death, it played a crucial role in the judgment of the soul in the Hall of Mud, the waiting of the heart ceremony. According to Egyptian mythology, after death, the deceased's heart was weighed against the feather of Mud, the goddess of truth and justice. If the heart was found to be lighter than the feather, it meant that the deceased had led an honorable life, and they would be granted eternal life in the afterlife. However, if the heart was heavy with sin, it would be devoured by Amit, a fearsome creature with the head of a crocodile, the body of a lion, and the hindquarters of a hippopotamus. And the soul would face annihilation. In ancient Egyptian mummification practices, the internal organs, including the intestines, liver, lungs, and stomach, were carefully removed from the body during the embalming process and preserved separately in canopic jars. These organs were considered vital for the afterlife and were mummified and preserved alongside the body. What about the brain? The brain was typically discarded during the mummification process. After removing the brain, embalmers would often insert hooks through the nose to break up and remove brain tissue, leaving the skull empty. The reason for discarding the brain was likely practical rather than religious. Ancient Egyptians believed that the heart, not the brain, was the seat of consciousness and intelligence. Therefore, the brain was considered unnecessary for the afterlife and was not preserved, in contrast to the heart that was left intact within the body because of its symbolic significance in the weighing of the heart ceremony. Aristotle, the ancient Greek philosopher, had a complex and multifaceted view of the brain, although his understanding of it was limited by the scientific knowledge available during his time. While Aristotle made significant contributions to various fields, including philosophy, biology, and natural sciences, his views on the brain were influenced by the prevailing ideas of his era. Aristotle proposed that the brain served as a cooling mechanism for the body, as he observed that it was cooler than the rest of the body in animals. He also suggested that the brain played a role in sensation, as it was the organ responsible for processing sensory information. However, Aristotle believed that the heart, rather than the brain, was the central organ of cognition and consciousness. He thought that the heart was where thoughts and emotions originated, and he associated it with higher mental functions. Yet, over time, figures like Galen began to challenge and change these notions by promoting the brain as the true center of sensation and intelligence. Galen, also known as a Galen of Pergamon or Claudius Galenus, was a prominent ancient Greek physician, anatomist, and philosopher who lived during the 2nd century CE. He is considered one of the most influential figures in the history of medicine and made significant contributions to various fields, including anatomy, physiology, pharmacology, and medical theory. In his writings, Galen made extensive observations and anatomical studies of the human body, including the brain. He conducted dissections of animals and human cadavers, although his access to human cadavers was limited, leading to some inaccuracies in his anatomical descriptions. Galen's understanding of the brain was informed by the prevailing anatomical theories of his time, which were influenced by the works of earlier Greek physicians such as Hippocrates and Aristotle. He believed that the brain, along with the heart, played a central role in controlling bodily functions and was the seat of the rational soul. During Galen's lifetime and in the centuries immediately following, his works were regarded as authoritative and were widely studied and accepted. His anatomical descriptions, including those of the brain and its functions, were foundational to the understanding of human anatomy and physiology in the ancient and medieval worlds. However, as scientific knowledge advanced and new methods of investigation became available, some of Galen's theories were subjected to scrutiny and revisions. For example, Galen's theory of the ventricular system, which postulated that the brain contained interconnected cavities filled with cerebral spinal fluid, was eventually replaced by more accurate models of brain anatomy based on detailed dissections and observations. Similarly, Galen's ideas about the role of the brain in controlling bodily functions and cognitions were refined and expanded upon by later scientists and physicians such as Andreas Berzelius and William Harvey during the Renaissance. As scientific understanding advanced, particularly during the Renaissance and Enlightenment periods, the brain gradually emerged as the primary organ responsible for cognitive functions, leading to a shift in focus from the heart to the brain in scientific and medical discourse. Philosophical battles about the brain weren't just academic. They spilled over into literature and cinema with tales that link the heart with moral consciousness and intellect. From Edgar Allan Poe's The Telltale Heart to more modern takes in science fiction like Blade Runner, the heart has been portrayed as the essence of being, the seat of wisdom and reason. But again, modern science corrects this. The brain, not the heart, is where our intelligence and thoughts are really processed. In Philip K. Dick's Do Androids Dream of Electric Sheep and its film adaptation Blade Runner, the emotional authenticity of artificial beings is questioned. These stories probe whether a mechanical heart can truly feel and reason like a human one. Modern science indeed reveals that the brain is the center of intellectual activity, not the heart. Detailed studies of human anatomy and neurology have shown that specific regions of the brain are responsible for various aspects of thinking and intelligence. The cerebral cortex, particularly prominent in these functions, is involved in many high-level processes, including problem solving and decision making. This outer layer of the brain is divided into several areas, each handling different types of cognitive tasks. So while thinking with all your heart is a charming notion, scientifically it's thinking with all your brain that accurately describes how we process and understand the world. Last but not least, let's debunk another misconception: the heart as a storage place for memories. This idea, though romantic, is scientifically inaccurate. Step into a world where memories are often associated with feelings from the heart. In the past, poems and songs frequently depicted the heart as a keeper of cherished memories. Such expressions suggest that our deepest feelings and memories are stored in the heart. In various cultures, the notion of the heart as a repository of memories transcends linguistic and geographical boundaries. For instance, in Chinese, the phrase Lao Ji Zai Xin, firmly remember in the heart, emphasizes the emotional depth of memorization, akin to engraving something deeply into one's heart. It translates to engrave in one's heart or keep firmly in mind in English, stressing the importance of remembering something significant. This sentiment is echoed in Russian with the expression «Ты навсегда останешься в моем сердце». You will forever remain in my heart, which suggests that our deepest emotions and memories are held within the heart. Such examples highlight the universal belief in the heart's role as a vessel for profound memories, underscoring its significance across diverse cultures. Science fiction has also played with this idea. An intriguing example from cinema is the film Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind. This movie explores the concept of erasing painful memories. Yet, the emotional residue of these memories persists. This suggests that memories might reside deeper than just the cognitive brain, touching on the heart's metaphorical role. Yet, neuroscience tells us that memories are not tucked away in our heart, but are instead etched deeply within various structures of the brain, like the prefrontal cortex or hippocampus. The frontier of neuroscience is pushing boundaries of how we understand and interact with memory. The groundbreaking DARPA Restoring Active Memory program aims to develop a fully implantable neural interface. This technology is intended to restore normal memory function to those suffering from brain injuries or illnesses. Furthermore, scientists from Wake Forest School of Medicine have been investigating how our brains remember things, focusing on key areas like the hippocampus and prefrontal cortex. They've even found ways to transfer memories between people to some extent. Now they're exploring the potential of a special brain stimulation technique to boost memory. Using a computer model, they've decoded brain signals related to memory, pinpointing patterns linked to remembering. By stimulating specific brain areas during memory tasks, they've discovered improvements in memory performance lasting up to 75 minutes post stimulation, with indications of long term benefits up to 24 hours later. Additionally, their research reveals that stimulating areas like CA3 and CA1 in the hippocampus enhances memory recall, even for unrelated tasks. These findings suggest that brain stimulation could become a promising tool for improving memory, particularly for individuals with memory impairments, by targeting specific brain regions and patterns associated with memory encoding and retrieval. While the notion of memories in the heart is poetically appealing, it is the brain that serves as the true repository of our memories. Modern science and technology are affirming and advancing our ability to enhance memory through groundbreaking research.
We can dance on the ceiling, share sexual feelings, and anonymous run.
As we wrap up this podcast, let's ponder why. Throughout history, the heart has often been thought of as more than just a pump, but as the very seat of our thoughts, emotions, and memories. Why did ancient cultures and philosophers attribute cognitive functions to the heart instead of the brain, despite the brain's role as the central command center of the body? From a physiological perspective, the relationship between the brain and the heart is intriguing and complex. Recent studies have highlighted a bidirectional communication system where not only does the brain regulate the heart via top down controls, but the heart also appears to influence brain function in a bottom up manner. This dual interaction involves the autonomic nervous system, which controls involuntary bodily functions such as heart rate and blood pressure. When faced with danger or intense emotions like love or fear, the heart rate increases, often accompanied by palpitations. These responses are initiated by the brain sending signals through the autonomic nervous system to adjust the heart's activity based on the perceived psychological state. Interestingly, the heart also communicates with the brain. Research has shown that the heart sends meaningful signals back to the brain, which can influence emotional processing and cognitive functions. This includes the modulation of stress, attention, and perception. This heart to brain influence is facilitated by the heart's intrinsic nervous system, sometimes described as a heart brain, which can operate and process information independently of the brain's command. Thus, while the heart and brain are often viewed as fulfilling separate roles, their ongoing interaction suggests a profound interconnectedness that contributes of how we experience and react to our environment. This complex dialogue highlights the sophistication of human physiology and the integrated way our bodies manage both emotional and cognitive functions. Given the prominent role of the heart in manifesting physical responses to emotions and stimuli, it's understandable why ancient cultures and early philosophers might have attributed cognitive functions to the heart. Its tangible and observable reactions to external stimuli may have led people to believe that it was the seat of thoughts, emotions, and memory. Additionally, the heart's association with love, courage, and vitality in cultural and religious symbolism further reinforced its perceived significance in matters of the mind and spirit. While our understanding of brain function has advanced considerably over time, the historical and cultural legacy of assigning cognitive functions to the heart persists, reminding us of the intricate interplay between mind, body, and culture in shaping our perceptions of human experience. Today, we've explored the fascinating journey from the heart back to the brain, debunking some of our most beloved myths along the way. Historically, the heart was seen as the core of our emotional, intellectual, and memorial life. However, modern science shows us that it's the brain's intricate network that truly manages our thoughts, decisions, and memories. With the knowledge we currently have, the brain stands as the master conductor of our internal experiences. Although, in the ever evolving world of science, new discoveries could someday paint a different picture. So, let's stay curious and open to learning more as research continues to unfold the mysteries of the human body. Thank you for joining me today on Brain Myths Debunked. We'll continue to explore and debunk more myths about our amazing brains in upcoming episodes. Remember, it's all about learning with all your brain. Until next time, keep thinking smart and feeling deep right from the brain. This podcast was brought to you by the Institute of Neuroapproaches, providing education and career services for people in the field of neuroscience and neurotechnologies. Explore more neuroscience-related educational content at www.neuroapproaches.org. Again, www.neuroapproaches.org.